Hello and welcome. There's a real lot to talk about today. I mean, uh, and we will be opinionated. So please tell us in the comment section. Tell me in the comment section what you feel. You want to agree, disagree, debate, discuss. All of that we will do. But first, take a look at what Irfan has to say about the House app.
क्या आप भी किसी अपने सपने मेरे तुम्हारे टीम 11 पे टीम बना रहे हो और बच्चों के साथ खेल रहे हो? हमारे साथ खेलोगे? हाउस ऐप पे खेलो लेजेंड्स के साथ, हमें हराओ और जीतो डबल कैश. लॉग ऑन टू houseapp.com and win real cash.
Okay, so the first news point, what is just coming in? Danny Medvedev will meet Novak Djokovic in the Australian Open men's final. Stefano Tsitsipas, after that fantastic win against Rafa Nadal 3-2, losing out in straight sets against Danny Medvedev. I mean, third set, he had a break. He was up 4-2, but thereafter Medvedev came back and then won it 7-5. No one will want to bet against Novak Djokovic. The way he has played, overcome injury, showed tenacity, perhaps the greatest alongside Nadal and Federer, and might well be the one who wins the maximum number of Grand Slams. So we've got to wait for Novak. So we've got to see what Novak Djokovic does, but that's the men's final in the Australian Open. News point number 2, Manika Batra winning the national championship yet again, and played extremely well. We will have Manika Batra on Sports Today. A lot of you have told me, sir, we should do all of this. Boryada, please do. Absolutely, we will. Olympic sport, national championships, domestic sport, Olympics, we will absolutely cover as much as possible. So Manika Batra will soon be on Sports Today, maybe tomorrow or maximum day after. She traveled to Pune today, so I'm just working with her to set up a time that is mutually convenient to get her on Sports Today to share her experience and celebrate her national championship win. Derby, that's the greatest football match in Indian football. ATK Mohun Bagan versus SC East Bengal. Do watch our special show. Do watch our special show here on Sports Today at 7 p.m. This is one game where stories do not end. Stories just do not end. And as a child, I have, from when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, I did not miss a single Mohun Bagan game. So in my life as well, I mean, I don't know how many derbies I've watched, but this is one very different contest. It has nothing to do with, quality and standard and what's going on and league table and points. It has everything to do with passion and emotion, and of a very different nature and magnitude. Every Mohun Bagan fan will forever be a Mohun Bagan fan, and the same applies for SC East Bengal. We will tell you and regale you with a lot of stories on the Kolkata Derby, the ISL Derby, the Indian footballing Derby in our special show at 7 p.m. on this particular game. Again, true to our commitment, we will do a lot of other sport, I mean, non-cricket stuff. Cricket in India has captured public imagination like no other. We will celebrate cricket, but at the same time, every sport will get its due on Sports Today. So watch our Derby special at 7 p.m. Coming to the IPL auction, I want to make 3 points to you. Jai Richardson, 14 crores. Kylie Jamieson, 15 crores. Glenn Maxwell, 14.25 crores. Chris Morris, 16.25 crores. Basically, think about these 4 buys. And what does this say to you? Point number 1 is, in a small auction, it has its own dynamic. I can tell you fairly certainly that if this was a big auction with all of the players present, maybe 2 or 3 retainees, you would have had a very different picture. I can absolutely be certain that Chris Morris or any of these players wouldn't have fetched half the price. There is a demand supply equation, and the demand supply equation becomes very different in a small auction. In a bigger auction, the demand is always balanced out by supply. The number of all-rounders and quality all-rounders in the talent pool would be way more. Presence of a Ben Stokes, for example. There are many of that particular, in that all-rounder list. Say a Pat Cummins who can actually bat decently well, a Marcus Stoinis, people who aren't retained or will not be retained next year, all of them will come into that talent pool. Fast bowlers, there are enormous number of fast bowlers in every part of the world. The Jason Holder in that all-rounder list also. So in a smaller auction, what happens is the talent pool is very limited. And now with the BCCI ruling that 75% of the purse has to be spent of 85 crores, which means you have to spend approximately 65 crores. So a lot of these teams, an RCB, a Kings 11 Punjab, a Rajasthan Royals, left with serious amount of purse. So they could splurge. And as a result, the demand supply equation becomes very, very different when it's a small auction, explaining why some players go for staggering amounts of money in an IPL auction. So keep that in mind. I mean, a large auction will always even things out. And in a smaller auction, you will always see 3 or 4 players go for staggering amounts of money. Number two, if you see Mumbai Indians and why Mumbai Indians is the most successful IPL franchise, just watch out that auction. Mumbai Indians has not paid for anyone more than maybe 10 CR. Rohit Sharma they bought for 9.5, 6 years back. They went for about 11 and a half for Morris and left it. They did not have more purse than 13, 14. So, but Mumbai Indians, look at what they did with Nathan Coulter-Nile, Piyush Chawla and Adam Milner. Now, one area which all of us have said that Mumbai Indians needed to bolster is that spin bowler, right? So they clearly, to back Rahul Chahar up, and they needed a leg spinner because they want that bowler. So if Rahul Chahar loses form, they've got a Piyush Chawla in. And a Piyush Chawla, as we know, is one of the most successful in IPL history. So they have 2 leg spinners now. They've filled that void. Take a look at what they did with Nathan Coulter-Nile. They released him 8 crores and they've got him back for 5.5 crores. So they saved that money, and using that same amount of money, they got Adam Milner. That's smart. They plan the best. And yesterday's auction was once again a clear example of why the Mumbai Indians are the most successful IPL franchise in history. It was fascinating to try and understand what they were trying to do. Now the main contention. I mean, Arjun Tendulkar, a lot of trolling. Now, for a second, think about it. There were many other uncapped players who went for 20 lakhs. Now, Arjun Tendulkar is paying the price of being a Tendulkar. Now, Arjun Tendulkar obviously did not decide whether he will be born to Sachin and Anjali. Now, that is not in his hands. The fact that his surname is a Tendulkar is not something that he decided by choice. And if he did, there are 2 things here. One, did some say, and we will tackle questions head on. You want to disagree with me, please pose the question. I will mention your name, take the question over the next 5-7 minutes. Whoever is saying this is nepotism, please tell me why you are saying it's nepotism, and I'm going to the chat. If anyone wants to, I'm going to my comments, and there are a lot. Hanuma Vihari not sold, shocking, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, etc., etc. Anyone want to talk to me about yes, Cheteshwar Pujara? I celebrated Cheteshwar Pujara's inclusion. There are these some idiotic journalists who are morons actually. I mean, they are unemployed morons. They will talk about Cheteshwar Pujara, inclusion not being respectful. They will say all kinds of idiots they are. So ignore them. But Cheteshwar, and by the way, I had a chat with Cheteshwar Pujara today morning, and I congratulated him. I actually believe he has a role to play for the Chennai Super Kings, because if there are 3-4 wickets down, he will have a role to play. He can take the innings to 140, so he's an important inclusion. A couple of questions there. But coming to Arjun Tendulkar wanted to pursue his dream of playing cricket. Now, I'm very clear about this. Let Arjun fail. Like each one of us, you and me, he is entitled to failing. Yes, he knows that the surname Tendulkar will haunt him. He knows that Sachin Tendulkar's son is not an easy thing to carry off. He knows that, if he plays cricket, comparisons with his father is inevitable. He knows that Sachin Tendulkar is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, and people will always say what happened to Arjun. Now, this guy is damned here, damned there. If he did not play cricket, people would say, Arey, with that kind of a father, with that kind of a support system and backup, why did Arjun Tendulkar not play cricket? Arjun Tendulkar should have played cricket. And if he did, people will say, Arey, this is nepotism. What good is he? He's a good for nothing. And it is Sachin Tendulkar's influence and request to the Mumbai Indians that he has been included in the Mumbai Indians team. Let's be clear here. He has played the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. Now, if Sachin Tendulkar can influence everything in the world, great. And Mumbai Indians, think about it. Now, if you are Mumbai Indians and you have a poster with Sachin Tendulkar and Arjun Tendulkar, is that brand building or not? Now, if you were Mumbai Indians, would you have done that or not? If that is not the best kind of outreach to reach out to fans across the country and across the world, then I don't know what is. So they are the smartest franchise. If they have a legend in Sachin Tendulkar and his son playing for the same franchise, it is a telling advertisement. It is a telling comment on this particular brand, and the kind of outreach will be staggering. So what they have done is laden with prudence. He's a good enough player in terms of he's a hardworking guy who has been picked by Mahela and Zahir and others. Whether he is good or bad is not for you and me to judge. Whether he fails is not for you and me to judge. Let him fail. Maybe he's not a great cricketer. I'm totally fine with it. Maybe my daughter will not be a good academic or a good journalist. Fine. But if she wants to pursue, a doctor's son wants to be a doctor, will you and I go and stop? A professor's son wants to be a professor, will you and I go and stop? A if, take a a film artist's son or daughter. If she or he wants to be a film actor, will we go and stop? Musicians, will we go and stop? A politician's son or daughter becomes a politician. Who are we to go and stop? Let Arjun Tendulkar fail. By saying what we are, by trolling Arjun Tendulkar, we are trying to attack human dignity. And I have a problem with that. And you know what? These trolls are behind the veil. They are cowards. Most of these people, when they have Sachin Tendulkar in front of them, would go and seek an autograph. These are jokers who will stand behind this veil and take pot shots thinking that is their 2 seconds of glory by pressing 140 characters on Twitter. We know, okay, Sarthak Jain, because Arjun is not selected on performance basis. Now, boss, if Arjun is not selected on, are you telling me that Mrs. Ambani, Akash Ambani, Zahir Khan, Mahela Jayawardene, and the rest of the guys are idiots? Do you think they have no brains? They are the most successful IPL franchise in the country for years. And if they want to pick someone, it is their franchise, Mr. Jain. It is not yours nor mine. And if Arjun Tendulkar has not been picked on performance and Mumbai Indians still want it, still, okay, Shaksham Samyal, why only MI? Who are you to? Okay, there have been multiple bids for these 20 lakh guys who are uncapped players who have been picked by one franchise, one bid, sold. Why are you not saying one particular franchise? Why are you not saying anything about those uncapped players? Because you are Tendulkar, you will have to carry this burden, is it? Because you are Tendulkar, you will be trolled, is it? You can't have this opportunity to fail. He played the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, and suppose he plays an IPL game and goes for 40 runs. Criticize him. Who's telling you not to? Criticize him, blast him, do what you want. But that guy is entitled to fail. That guy is entitled to doing what he wants. And Sachin Tendulkar once told me, and I'm saying this on record for the first time, that who am I, quote, who am I to tell Arjun not to pursue his dream? Can I? When I wanted to play cricket, my parents did not stop me. Can I tell Arjun, no, do not play this sport? And if he turns back to me ever and say, I did not let him pursue his dream, what answer do I have? Let him fail. Let him do what he wants in life and not be successful. But like everyone, if I want to be an academic, a politician, a player, a journalist, a commentator, it's my right. It is Arjun Tendulkar's right to fail. Mr. Jain and Mr. Samyal, just like you have to give your opinion and are entitled to giving your opinion, whether I like it or not, you are entitled. And I respect that you are entitled. So is Arjun Tendulkar. He's entitled to go out there, perform and fail. So let him do that. Mumbai Indians is entitled to picking him. That is their call. They are the best franchise in this country. And if they decide on doing something, it is entirely their call. It is not nepotism. It is not something that you and I are supposed to influence. It is not our franchise. Buy a franchise, decide on doing what you want, and don't pick him. That's your simplest thing to do. Do not resort to Twitter and challenge a human being's dignity and respect, because by doing it, you are showing yourself in a poor light. Now, if you are successful, for a change, if you are successful and your son and daughter who wants to do something is told that after hours and hours and hours and days of work, what you have done is because of your father and mother, it doesn't feel good. That's why I say I've got very strong views on this. Arjun Tendulkar might be a modest cricketer, might not play for India, might fail in the IPL, but that is his right. Let him fail. So that's what I want to say here. Like every other cricketer, he is entitled to making a life choice. And if that life choice doesn't work, he will pay for it. By trolling him, we are showing ourselves as a disrespectful society, and that is what is wrong with our society. I hope this resonates with people. Even if one person it resonates with, I'm happy. And if it doesn't, I don't give a damn about it, because these are views we've got very strong opinions on. This is one such. And Gopi Chand, for example, was told he's resorted to nepotism when Gayatri Gopi Chand was made part of the Indian team for the 2018 Commonwealth Games. I have listened to the audio of that meeting. Gopi had recused himself. Just because Gayatri is Gopi's daughter, Arjun is Sachin's son, do not call them corrupt. Do not say, will you say an Akash Ambani has come into Reliance and that's wrong? Will you say that a Parth Jindal has come into JSW as that's wrong? Will you say Sanjeev Goenka's son Shashwat Goenka should not inherit the RPSG group and should not come into it, and that's wrong? You will not. So why are you pointing out for the sporting personalities or celebrity sons? This is the worst kind of thing that we can possibly do. I will end 5 at 5 here. I will do a special show on this tomorrow. And again, I will take as many questions as you can possibly have for me. Discuss, debate, and I respect your opinion. But let us be civil and have a rational debate. Thanks for watching 5 at 5.